Hey, I'm Josh.
Hey, I'm Kate.
And this is my 2022 Toyota 4Runner. And today we're going to be giving you a demonstration and overview and review of my Roofnest Falcon that's on the top. I bought the tent used on Facebook Marketplace in February of 2021. And when I first got it, I had it on my older 4Runner. Before this car, I had a 2003 4Runner Limited that I had lots of different stuff on. But in April, I got this car and moved the tent over. So this roof tent is a 2020 model. It is the regular size, not the XL. And I've added lights on the inside, and pretty soon we'll give you a demonstration on how I open it up. On the back of my 4Runner, I put a 4Runner Outfitters ladder, and that way we can just use this ladder and we don't have to set up a separate ladder to get into the tent. This is what the ladder that looks like that comes with the roof tent, and usually I've taken the mounts off the car, but usually there are two mounts up on the side of the roof tent. You hang it over like this and extend it, it telescopes down. And this is easier, but sometimes we don't usually feel like bringing this with us as well. That's why having the other ladder on the car permanently makes it easier. One of my favorite things about this tent, the hard shell style rooftop tents, is that I have two crossbars on the top and we're able to keep things on the roof. If you have a traditional style rooftop tent, you kind of lose your roof rack capabilities. But with this style tent, you get to keep that function, which is really important to me because I feel like we're always paddleboarding or bringing the canoe, or sometimes I've even put a roof box up there for extra storage. Another good feature about this style tent, and about this one specifically, is that since it tilts this way, we're able to keep the paddleboards up there even when the tent is in the open position. Now we're going to give you a demonstration on how to open the tent. On the back of the roof nest, you'll see two latches, one there, and how it works is you just undo them like this. When we're opening the tent with paddleboards on the top, I usually get on the top of the ladder or right behind the wing and stand up with the paddleboards so they're connected to the top and it just comes up all in one. So as you can see, when you open it, there is a bungee cord strap around the tent that keeps the tent sides in. And Kate is now just lowering it. We usually put it in this channel just to keep it out of the way. So these are the two rain fly poles, and I'm now going to demonstrate how to put up the rain fly. Putting the bottoms into this hole down here was a little tricky at first, so it kind of takes some practicing, but it's not bad once you get the hang of it. Now essentially we are set up. We've got three ways into the tent. This is the biggest entrance, and then the two side windows also roll down completely, so depending on where you mount your ladder on the side of the car, you can get in from either side. The tent is made of aluminum and very hard black plastic, and the crossbars are metal and they screw into the tracks on the side. I know the tent overall is 140 pounds. I forgot what the roof rack crossbars on top of the tent are rated for, but as you can see, it holds two 10.5-foot paddle boards up without a problem. I do really like this tent. And with every rooftop tent, there's always going to be pros and cons, and nothing is ever perfect. But I'll go over the two issues I have with this tent, or it's not just this tent specifically, roof tents in general. There's actually three things that I could think of with roof tents where ground tents are a little bit better, or just it's a little different. First point is, if you're at a first come, first served campsite, whether that's a state forest or a national forest, you don't have a tent to put down. The tent is on top of your car, so when you leave, your site is now gone and it's not yours anymore. So I know some people bring like little ground tents to kind of claim the spot as theirs when they go leave for the day. But that's the first thing with having your tent on top of your car, is that once you leave your site, if it's not a reservable campground, you're basically out of luck. One of the other downsides to roof tents, especially ones like this, is that if it rains while you're sleeping and you want to take the tent down and go to a new spot in the morning, the sides will be wet. And the sides fold in down onto the mattress, and that gets your mattress wet. In order to get around this problem, I keep a waterproof blanket that I'll show you in a second that I turn upside down so the tarp side is facing up, and that way I lay that out on top of the mattress, and that way when I close the tent and the sides fold in, the wet sides are on the waterproof blanket and not seeping into the foam mattress that stays up there. Third thing that isn't specific to this tent, slim rooftop tents that are the clamshell style in general, is that there's not enough space to leave your bedding inside with a traditional foam mattress up there. Now if you used a compressible down sleeping bag and also used a sleeping pad that you had to inflate every time, you could probably get away with leaving your things up there, but with a traditional mattress that you don't have to inflate, there's just not enough room to leave stuff in there and close it. Kate is now going to give us a little overview and walk around of inside the tent.
So this is what the roof tent looks like when it's all set up. Over here on both sides and along the top, those are the lights that Josh was talking about earlier. Here's the battery pack that we use to power the lights. There's a screen and a rain fly on either side of the tent. At the back of the tent over here, there's a net and it's stretchy. And you can put your clothes or any light and small items up there. The mattress in here is pretty comfortable.
It's probably like 3 or 4 inch thick. It's regular foam, really.
But it's pretty comfortable. It probably kind of feels like a mattress topper. I feel like I usually sleep pretty well when we're in here though.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Kate is just laying down for fun right now, but we usually sleep with our feet down here and our heads up here. Another couple things are, I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's a zipper around the whole thing in case you burn or need to replace this whole side of the tent, like everything. It all zips off from the casing itself, and that's pretty convenient if something really bad happens. And then there is one vent hole up here, but if it's very warm, you're going to want to leave every screen open, or else it gets very hot with everything closed up. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this in this light, but right here you can see some green mold. Last year when I went to Assateague, I made a video about it. I went with my friend Jesse. I closed the tent. There you go. I closed the tent when it was very wet and didn't open it for a week or so. So you really got to make sure you air out these tents after each use. Even if it doesn't get that wet, it's still very important for it to all air dry. That's kind of self-explanatory, and it goes for every tent really, but you got to make sure you take extra care of this because this is always out in the elements, especially if you leave it on your vehicle. The little rain awning on the back has 2 little windows, one on each side, so you can kind of see out and you don't feel as cramped in. And this is pretty sturdy in high winds. We've had it in some pretty good storms before, and these haven't blown down yet. There's some built-in straps on each entrance in order to tie back your rain flies once you open them. On the rear entrance, you also get a little strap to hold the rain fly and the screen. Overall, I have been really happy with this tent. I feel like having it does make me go camping more so than if I didn't have it. It is not perfect, but it's still really good. I would really recommend looking around on your local Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace to try to find something used. Even if you get a used one and the mattress needs replacing, that's still totally worth it because it's really not much to these tents. But you just want to make sure it doesn't have too much mold. I would say a little bit would be acceptable, like how you saw a little bit of green on mine. But you definitely don't want a very moldy tent, and you don't want something that's been uncared for. And if you can ask and figure out if they leave it on their car in the winter or take it off in the winter, that's a big plus too, because the longer they leave it on with all the snow and ice, the more prone these things are to leak, because the rubber gaskets that are on the top actually that clamp down to this get worn out. That's going to wrap up the video today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this and want to see more of this kind of content, please like and subscribe, and be sure to comment what you want to see.